Hi there, it's Barry at GotAUkulele.com with another beginner's tip video for you. One question I do see crop up quite a lot online is people asking, how can I tell if my instrument is made from solid or laminate wood? Now, this is not a video to extol the benefits of one or the other. Regular readers of my website will know that I actually prefer a good quality professional laminate over a cheap quality solid wood. So one is not always better than the other. But I'm noticing a sort of worrying trend in manufacturer details on certain brands who are a little economical with the truth in the way they describe their instruments, meaning that people are led to believe they are buying a solid wood ukulele when actually they are not. They're buying a laminate wood ukulele. I think the buyer has a right to know what they're getting, and it can sometimes be confusing. I know people who've been hoodwinked. So let's say you've got the ability to pick up a ukulele in your hands, or you've bought one from the used market, or you've bought one thinking it was solid wood but you have your doubts. Are there any ways that you can check? Well, short of taking the instrument apart, it's quite hard, but there are some pointers that you can try. For the top of the instrument, a solid wood instrument like this one is going to be very thin and resonant with some top bracing inside. If you look at the edge of the sound hole, the grain pattern on the top as it hits the sound hole will follow around it. In other words, you'll be looking along the thin piece of wood. So if you've got a grain stripe running this way, you will see the grain stripe follow all the way around the edge of that top. With a laminate instrument, when you look at the edge of the sound hole, not only is it normally thicker, but the laminate wood is made of sandwich of layers of wood on top of each other, and you'll see the sandwich of the edge of the wood, or it will look rough or it'll look very unfinished. On a solid wood instrument, the grain pattern should show through. If you see a sandwich of wood this way, it's almost certainly laminate wood. The back and sides are harder though, because we can't take them apart. We can't see the edge. But one tip you can try is you can have a look at the grain pattern that's there on the back. So look for some noticeable grain stripe. In a lot of cases with solid wood instruments, that grain stripe will repeat on the inside because it's the other side of the same piece of wood. If you look inside and you see a grain pattern running this way, when the back or the side's grain pattern is running this way, it is almost certainly laminate wood, because you're looking at a different piece of wood on the inside, or the other side of the plywood basically. So that can be a tip. It doesn't help always. Generally speaking, solid wood instruments will be braced, although the problem here is that a lot of laminate wood instruments are braced. Whether they're done that way in order to hoodwink people, I don't know. But if you look inside and the back or the top are not braced, it is almost certainly going to be a laminate wood instrument. You get other issues that can cloud the point on vintage instruments. Sometimes the edge of the sound hole is painted, hiding the edge. Some people claim that is a surefire way of spotting a laminate wood instrument. I'm afraid it isn't. There are some old solid wood instruments that do that with the sound hole for decoration, and in fact Bruco used to do it quite recently, and they are solid wood. So it's hard to know. Most of all though, check the wording of the product description. If a manufacturer is using solid wood, they will say so. They will use that word solid, because it is a good sales point. What I don't like are the brands, and you know who you are, who use terms like all mahogany, or all select mahogany, or grade AAA flamed all maple, but don't use the word solid. If you see that wording, it is not a solid wood instrument. If it was a solid wood instrument, they would say so. So my good rule of thumb is if it doesn't use the word solid, it isn't solid. Should that matter? As I say at the beginning, not necessarily. It depends whether you like the sound of the instrument. But I think buyers and players do have a right to know that what they're getting is what they're getting. And I'm afraid to say that there are an increasing number, in fact, of brands out there who are being a little economical in the way they describe their instruments. Don't give me all solid and claim that it is all solid. I've even seen one discussion where somebody claimed that the laminate was made of all strips of mahogany, so a sandwich, but all mahogany wood sandwich, and therefore it was solid mahogany. No. A solid piece of wood is cut and shaped down from one single piece of wood. There is no gluing, sandwiching, ply, or anything involved. Just because you've made your laminate out of strips of the same piece of wood doesn't make it a solid wood instrument, I'm afraid. So as I say, go carefully. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. A solid wood instrument, generally speaking, is a lot more money than a laminate wood instrument, although there are exceptions to that rule as well. Have a look at the edge of the sound hole. Have a look for the grain patterns on the outside repeating on the inside. Does it feel thin and resonant? You should be able to tell from the quality. If it looks rough and unfinished on the sound hole, thick, no bracing, it is almost certainly laminate. And if your product description says it is made from all mahogany, all koa, all acacia, and doesn't use the word solid, take it from me, it is almost certainly not solid wood. Hope that helps you. Keep an eye on GotAUkulele.com for some more beginners tips, instrument reviews and fun stuff coming very soon. Take care.